got me cringe, got cringe, got cringe, cringe, got cringe, cringe, got cringe, cringe, got cringe, got.
Well, this is a nice looking crowd. I was performing at another club the other night. The place was totally empty. There was no one in the audience at all except one guy sitting in the front row. So I jokingly said, boy, if I was an escaped convict from Atlanta Penitentiary, this is where I would hide. No one would look for me here. The guy in the front row said, shh, you're blowing my cover. So anyway, it's always a big honor when Jerry asks me to say a few words about him. And when he asked me this time, I said, you know, Jerry, my stand-up has really improved now. Another comic gave me some advice. He said, this other comic said, Dan, I want to give you a little advice. You talk too quickly between jokes. You don't give people time to listen or laugh. So what I want you to do is take a bottle of water up here. Every time you tell a joke and hear a laugh, I want you to take a drink to slow down. But don't take the drink until you hear a laugh. And Jerry said to me, Dan, if you have to wait to hear a laugh, you're going to end up dying of thirst. So anyway, it is a big honor to be talking about Jerry. Jerry's more than just a friend to me. He's the person I go to for fatherly advice. And I recently went up to him, I said, Jerry, what do I have to do to start getting paid for telling my jokes? He said, Dan, do you have a daytime job you work at that you get paid at? I said, yes. He goes, tell your jokes at work. Then he said to me, he said, Dan, I want to ask you a question. I've seen quite a few bit of your stand-up. Let me ask you, do you steal your jokes from other comics? I said, no, Jerry, I write my own jokes. Why would you ask such a thing? He said, it was just a suggestion. Stealing them would help your stand-up. I said, Jerry, you mean writing my own jokes hurt my stand-up? He goes, no, not at all. It only hurts when you tell them. Anyway, so Jerry took me recently, he takes me to a few shows. I opened up for him one show. After my show, I went up to him, I said, Jerry, how'd you like my jokes? He said, you know, Dan, it's never too late to get a medical degree. After my, so anyway, every morning I write a new joke, and I call Jerry up and tell him the joke, and just to see if he likes it. Today I told him a new joke, and he said, Dan, I really wish you'd grown up to be a monk. I said, why is that? He goes, they take a vow of silence. I said, Jerry, I've been thinking about quitting this stand-up comedy thing anyway. He said, Dan, how can you quit something you've never started? Then he said, no, Dan, I'm just kidding. There is a place in stand-up comedy for you. I said, where's that, Jerry? He goes, sitting in the audience. But anyway, Jerry is a comedy legend in Atlanta. We all have to admit, but he's more than that. He's a legend with the women. He's a legend with the women. I was sitting with him in Starbucks a few years ago, and across the way was this beautiful girl. He said to me, Dan, that's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. I must go talk to her. So Jerry walked over to talk to her, said, young lady, you're one of the most beautiful, devastatingly gorgeous girls I've ever seen in my whole life. Could I buy you a cup of coffee? She said, why, thank you, sir. Bruce Jenner and I had the same plastic surgeon. So anyway, but you know, I bumped into one of his old girlfriends the other day, and she said to me, you know, every time I see Jerry perform, he makes me feel 30 years younger. I said, why is that? She goes, because he's been saying the same jokes for the last 30 years. She was telling me one time they were lying in bed and Jerry said to her, what's up? She said, nothing, that's the problem. She said, Jerry, every time I look at your weenie, it reminds me of the company that makes Windows computers. Jerry said, why is that? She goes, because it's micro and soft. This is a roast, right? Jerry was passing by a doctor's office the other day. He told me he saw a banner above the door that said Viagra, $1 per pill. Then he said, damn, that's really cheap because my girlfriend charges me $2. Another girlfriend said to me, Dan, one time I made love to Jerry one night. The next morning I woke up and I said, Jerry, you know, last night was real. I was not pretending, it was real. Jerry said, really, it was? She goes, yes, I really did fall asleep. Anyway, oh, you know, and Jerry told me the other day, he said, you know, Dan, I've discovered I think up my best jokes during sex. I said, well, Jerry, that means you only come up with one good joke a year. Anyway, Jerry is a comedy legend in Atlanta. He is a comedy legend in Atlanta. There's no doubt about it. And he's just saying, but he's more than that. He's a landmark. Jerry is as much of a landmark as Stone Mountain, Coca-Cola, or the Big Chicken. In fact, he's such a landmark that we need to build a statue of him and put it right outside the punchline, right? The punchline. And we should do the statue. It should be of like one of his famous poses that we've seen many times, like, or maybe, oh, you remember this famous one. You remember this famous one. You can't forget this one. You can't forget this one. Let me get the little teeth here. Gotta get the teeth. Or this pose. Go dogs. Or this most famous pose. You can't forget this one. Go dogs. Anyway, thank you, Jerry, for being a good friend, and thank you, Jerry, for being a friend to everyone in Atlanta that's making us laugh. And now I'd like to introduce the next comic. I hope you all remember seeing him perform in his underwear. This is not underwear, it's boxer shorts. No, it's athletic shorts. But anyway, right now I want to introduce the next guest. Give it up, he's straight from rehab. He's a traveling touring comic. Give it up for Mr. Greg Langford.
I was amazed to get up to the stage tonight. Y'all give it up for Jerry tonight, his birthday.
Yes, and Carlos is a working comic. Kenny Schick, fortunately, is retired from HBO very comfortably. Better than a comic. It's real and he's humane and very generous. He paid me to come here tonight. You know, I had this club 5 years, and we together 5 years we didn't have this many people coming. Because, I don't know, I had McGovern, so my luck has never changed. I've said so many insincere things to so many sincere people, but let me be at 81 real. My doctor diagnosed something. He gave me 6 months to live. They found a spot. It was on my shirt, fortunately. It was an ink spot. And wife is here. He's a young guy. He went to the University of Phoenix, so he's not like a real, he also does plumbing if you have a plumbing problem in the basement, but he's also got to be creative. I cannot resist the punchline when I want to be real sincere, which is thank you. I owe everybody here at least $1,000. I'm thinking this was a bad idea. I'm thinking now, people that know I'm alive, and it's at least $300,000 a day. So I'm going to make a suggestion, because many of you have worked with me and you've known the issues. I was a gambler. It's like James Conn. I should have played the role, the gambler, in that movie. I mean, I would bet on Wofford playing Michigan State. No, it's a terrible addiction. I'm not proud of it. It's my son knows about it, so I'm not exposing him to it, but I'm over it now. Although, Duke plays Carolina State. Boy, I've been to buffets, Chinese buffets. I've never seen anything as appetizing as playing Duke without Zion Williamson. If you keep up with it. But I'm not betting. I don't bet anymore. What I'm betting on is that you will believe that I love you for coming here. And this is why monogamy doesn't work. This is why monogamy cannot work. I would make love to all of you, including some of the women here. And I'm dead serious. You think I'm joking? I'm dead serious about that. That's a joke, man. We're queen. I loved Freddie Mercury was a friend of mine, Elton John, Michael Bloomberg, the whole crowd, all over. So thanks for showing up. I moved to Columbus a year ago, and a good friend is here, Buddy Nelson, and helped my transition. It was hard to move at 80 years. I've lived in this city since I was 20 years old. And I have great sponsors there still. I bring my laundry always to 6 Samuels. And no, I really do. And the young son of the owners is here. Adam, he's going to say hello in a minute. But that's the kind of a place, and I went to them, been going to them for almost 60 years. 6 Samuels. And they do, and they're great. And this is a true story. Adam wasn't born, but his dad And my unit was called back to Vietnam. This is 1962. I was in the 4th Infantry of the 5th Dimension, singing group. And Da Nang was breaking out. Remember Da Nang? I was in Canada. So this is a true story. And it's not going to be funny if you don't know 6 Samuels, but if you live within 20 miles, it's worth it to go to 6 Samuels Laundry. They were not just good friends as we became, but they were also bankers and philosophers. And if I was ever going to convert from atheism to Christianity, it would be because of you, because you are the best Christians I've known. And I've known a lot. I grew up in North Carolina. And I was hung in effigy 3 times. But I love you. You are really God-loving and God-fearing people. And thank you. As I go around the room, I could do this with every one of you, but I cannot do it tonight on my 82nd. Anita and Jim Beatty are the faces of the Task Force for the Homeless, which closed after a great run. And they did very well, and there was a settlement with Emory University, and they really are the chosen people because they work with people who nobody wants around. Some of them smell, and they're homeless. They have really nothing. And I became a board member. And I'm dating a homeless woman now that I met at the shelter, and she's lovely, and I can drop her off anywhere. I mean, it's just really, and I love her, you know that, but I mean, sometimes I don't feel like driving to Marietta. Anita, I'm testing your metal now. You know, I swear I'm nicer than that. It's so disgusting. I'm an asshole. I mean, it's good to be able to own up to who you really are. I know I can do it. But thanks for your service, and thanks for tuning me into my inner self, which is to give to the other ones, because I've had a blessed life. I didn't do much with the money, as you know. I had, Bernie Madoff. I sent him a couple $1 million. And I only had $400 in my checking account. I don't know if you know these 2 guys. They play football at University of Georgia. Swing Bros, yeah. And they are the last 2 white men to ever play football. This goes back to the 70s, when coaches thought you could win with white people. This was like, you even born. Remember that? That was in the day. Scott is here. A lot of my buddies, after I sold a house in Midtown, I moved into an apartment on the Beltline, and that crowd was here. And I've never had such joy from people 60 years younger. And we would party and we'd watch TED Talk for about 5 minutes and then smoke pot and do donuts. It was some of the best years of my life. And I aged about 12 years in 2 weeks. I know you're here to see if an 81-year-old can still do it. And you know what? I have a lot of friends older than me. I met in Columbus a lot of retired soldiers. By the way, let me go back. Columbus is lovely. Some of you, I hope, will come. Some have come. It's the 2nd biggest city in Georgia, and it's growing at twice the rate of the state of Georgia. It's bigger than Savannah. Augusta shrinking. Macon is shrinking. Columbus is growing. It's the home of my favorite young people. You know what it is? Army Rangers. It's the Fort Benning in Columbus. Of course, Aflac is there. They help. They're the Coca-Cola of Columbus. Many people don't know Coca-Cola started in Columbus, not Atlanta. Columbus Coke, and then the younger people got the money and they came here and did all the good stuff. I'm in Columbus now, and I live in a wonderful little 1-bedroom, no bathroom bungalow. Right downtown. It's only like $1,200 a month, and you can always bill a bathroom. Yeah. This is what I'm dealing with now. When I was starting in comedy, there were never phones, and looking at these young people just like, I don't know what it is. I've got to deal with it. But I want you to, they're friends, they're Dan's children, and they just bought an $8,000 home in what they call a new neighborhood, right down south of western Valdosta on the east side of Thomasville. And it's only $8,000, but it's on a lake. It's dried up. And how about a round for Dan Glazer? Did a great job of hosting. Did not know he was going. And everybody who was coming. Jeff Hubbard, by the way, has been with Mercedes for 31 years now, and not many people stay 31 months at a job, 31 years. They brought him here to be a big deal. And Kenny's helped HBO boxing. And I was going to be a lawyer. Not many of you know that. I studied law at Chapel Hill, but I hated blood. I could not stand blood. So I got out of law. Became a doctor. Now I can't stand lawyers except for Bobby Eagle or Howard Osofsky and Seth Kirschenbaum. And it's a tough business. This is a tough business. Because, you know, you might sell an elevator and be like, I've had 3 wives. They didn't look as nice to me as you did right now. And I know that look. I used to be a woman. I'm a Buddhist. I've been around here 10,000 times. Now that look is like, oh, please, you're kidding me. I had 3 wives. They weren't mine. None of them were my wives. They were my friends' wives. You might get beat up, but you won't lose your house. You know? I'm not going to lose another house. I lost 2 houses. One of them had a sunken living room. It wasn't built like that at the storm. Remember the rain and the It would be great. Everybody here has a comedy set in them, and you know, everybody here does. Wilson Fish does. Everybody does, and you hear a few more too, young man Adam, as the night progresses. So, a dear friend of mine, one of my closest friends who passed away, Bruce Arians. You remember Bruce, Vietnam soldier? Died fairly recently, and his lovely widow was here, Terry. And I just wanted, she drove from Gainesville. She left 2 days ago. It took her 4 hours. I love traffic. It's just like, if I don't have a joint, I just want to hit. I was stuck in traffic in Midtown at the laundry day when I saw you. There was a sign there that said, honk twice if you love Jesus. In the car in front of me, it said that, honk twice if you love Jesus. So I honked 3 times. Guy gets out of his car, a big burly guy, looks like he came up and he said, what the are you doing? I said, your sign says honk, I love Jesus. He said, well, that's my daughter's car. I don't like Jesus and I don't like you at all. I'm breaking up. The point of that is what you see is not always what you get. I guess that's one way to see it. Because he was going to break my neck, but it said honk. It said distinctly. I took pictures of my cell phone. God, you love me. So, does anybody go back to the Larkin Dove? Yeah, you do? You're a baby. So I started at the Larkin Dove, which has been many different metamorphoses. And a long time ago, I was in my 30s maybe, and that was a good while ago. But I played the piano. I never opened my mouth. And the reason I started doing jokes was my parents, God bless them, they loved to laugh. They listened to comedy albums. My mother loved Danny Kaye. My father loved Eisenhower. Roosevelt. Great men, both. But we would laugh. And on radio, George Burns, Jack Benny, but the laughter to be a child and look at adults laughing and smiling, since most adults were grim. And that's how I said, God, this would be a great way to make a living. I went to Grossinger's, a Jewish hotel, when I was 12 years old. And I'll never forget, a waiter told me, Jerry, if you can make it with this crowd, you can make it anywhere, because Jews are a tough crowd. They've lasted a long time. And he told me a one-liner about the Jewish women. He said, you know where you get tough? Vietnam makes you tough. Wrestling's tough. Lawyering is tough. But you serve 400 Jewish women 3 meals a day. You go up and say, Mrs. Schwartz, was anything okay? Was the water wet? But don't break my ball. Was anything okay? Jewish stuff. I'm half Jewish, half Catholic. I go to confession. I say, bless me, Father, I've sinned, but he's my lawyer. Igor, Horowitz, Osofsky, Lefschitz, Kirschenbaum, Lefschitz. You know, this is what's hard at 81. It used to be when I was young, the crowd was young, and everybody would laugh the same thing. I'm looking around, and this woman right over here, a beautiful woman, right here. Right here, looking like that, looking at my 3rd wife. Gee, oh, let's get it done. But I will say to you, and it's serious, one day you will look like Hillary Clinton. So enjoy being young and beautiful, because one day life takes all of you in the back alley and you can kick the shit out of you. So you can sit there and judge me, but I say judge ye not lest ye be so judged. That's the greatest. Dean Smith said that from Coach K, too. So judge ye not my freshman unless your freshman shall so be so judged. So I want to play a few songs. Kenny, thanks a lot. Before I forget it, because I do forget things, I've been doing an imitation of Jacques Cousteau. I've done it forever. Remember Jacques Cousteau? Or how about Miss Iraq? Or how about Miss Saudi Arabia? How about Miss Alabama? So Alabama's a great secondary state. He was in underwear. Fuck it, I'm not that. So anyway, listen. So my first job, 1960, Myrtle Beach, Ocean Forest Hotel, playing the piano. Great piano bar called the Brook Green Room. And then they outdoors, they had a little something, had about 800 people in the outdoor, and they had a group. And this is how I remember them sounding. 1960. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Pretender. Remember this one? Good night. White people. They were the Platters. They were the #1 selling group in the world until the Beatles came. Then I opened for this, and I'll never forget how lovely this song was. Crying for let me know. That was the Beatles. I opened for them at Smith's Old Bar down at a long time ago. Cat Stevens. I still listen to Cat Stevens. Just got me. There was something about it. Remember this song? This is my favorite piece of music. That was Gershwin, almost 100 years ago. No, Rhapsody of Blues, just a great piece of music. But here comes Phil Collins from England in the early 80s. And listen to these lyrics. It has nothing to do with mushrooms. Just listen carefully. Phil Collins. Stacey, listen, Stacey. One more night. One more night. Forget Gershwin, anybody can know. Listen, one more. $40 million. And he goes up, Griff, give me one. One more. It was called One More Night. It was brilliant. This is some of the best. And then there's a new documentary, just like there was a not documentary, docudrama with Queen. Now there's one called Rocka something with Elton John. Same kind of a flick, and I've seen 8 minutes of it. And it's fabulous. Elton John. What's it called?
Rocket Man.
Rocket Man. He's a friend of mine. He lives right down the park place. In Valdosta doing a fiction.
I've definitely heard it.
A little bit funny. Breathing inside. I don't know. The best I can do. Look at this brush.
I know it's your birthday, and it's a great crowd, but you're ruining that song. You're ruining it. Yeah. I love the way you play. You play good. May I try? May I sing it? May I try it? Just give me a chance. I normally cook here in the kitchen. That's my job. I make the eggs and stuff. You got everything done right here? All right. Okay, are you ready? You gonna be serious? It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. Not one of those who can easily hide. I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I were a sculptor, but then again, no, or just a man who makes potions in a traveling show. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. You guys know this, right? You can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple now that it's done. How wonderful life is now you're in the world. I hope you don't mind, hope you don't mind. Oh, stop it now.
My eyes are burnt.
Here's 81, and here's what? How wonderful life is. Now you're Gail. Now you're in the. You ready to we'll do the world. Jerry Farmer, everybody.
When you were 7 or 8 years old, Gail was traveling to Canada on occasion, and we'd go to Charlotte, the comedy zone, remember? And she had a son who now is the father of their 2 grandchildren, and lovely, but Johnny.
Yes.
Jake used to wake Johnny in another room. He'd go knock on Johnny's room. He said, "Mr. Paparazzi." And he didn't go to bed till 5 in the morning. Remember, he knocked on the door and Johnny.
Oh my gosh.
So, do you remember those memories?
I remember those, Jerry. Those were great memories.
Do you remember when Carolina beat Duke 3 times in the same year? 5 Bobby, and we beat Maryland with Lenny Bias, but not often, but we beat him.
Oh my gosh, look at everybody we know.
I know. You know, I don't remember the names. And you're Johnny. I know you, Johnny, because we worked together. I've got to say that I'm looking at your plaid shirt, and I'm thinking there's a Winnebago missing a seatbelt. I can't say it out of my mind. It's something about shallow, don't be mad, shallow. So Johnny Perazzo and I met 30 years ago when I had the club in Buckhead, and he came in from Atlantic City, and Michael came in and asked my part. He said, "You'll let people sit in?" Of course we did, and we will further tonight. And I said, "Sure." Johnny came in. This is 30 years ago at the old club in Buckhead.
Remember the one on Far Road? What a great! That was the best place.
So Johnny came in and did 3 songs, and Mendel said, "Don't just pay him, make him a partner." And Johnny was the partner.
Mendel. Anta didn't like me, but Mendel.
Anta didn't like. She didn't know, but that's not important.
Anyway.
So do a song, please. And
What
then,
do you got? What, is there something special I could do for your birthday?
just do anything from Queen or from Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath. I love Black Sabbath, especially at Passover. There's something about the Black Sabbath conceptual orientation of the developmental process of the orientation of love and brotherhood and sisterhood. That's from an old Gandhi. Remember what Gandhi said? Retail, retail. Gandhi said it. He said retail. To me, he said it personally. No, so this is great. Again, thanks from Johnny and I, because we've been doing this a long time, many shows over 35 years. And you're really a best friend. Yeah, I've said it. I have good Bobby, Howard, Seth, all these buddy, Kenny, new friends, these guys.
A lot of great friends.
But I have no better friend than you, because there's nothing I wouldn't do for you. And there's nothing you wouldn't do for me. We've done nothing. That's our relationship. We've done nothing for each other, and that's our relationship. And you know that. I mean, Jeff Marshall and Scott, but I mean, you've done nothing, but I've done nothing for you. Let's just be honest. He's Italian. Are there any Italians?
Italians. Anyone?
Johnny gave me the best one line, why the Italians hate Jehovah's Witnesses.
What? Say that again? What?
They hate all witnesses.
Oh.
No, that's a true story. I don't like a witness. See, you don't like a witness. You're in good hands for a moment. Johnny Perazzo.
Jerry, wait, don't wait. You know Billy Allen's here, right?
Wait a minute. Billy Allen,
now,
wait a minute. We gotta talk about Billy Allen.
Remember this story, yeah, because...
Who was our bartender at the club.
At the Far Road.
He's one of the more successful club owners in this part of the country. Billy Allen owns the Whiskey Mistress and as always...
He had Beluga and...
And he and I are opening a restaurant called Karma. And it's an Indian spiritual place, and there's no menu, but you get what you deserve. And Billy is putting the money into it. That's a true story. That's the name. There's no food, but you get what you deserve.
Well, wait. I know that Billy might have a few. He might have a few choice words, something about you. We should invite Billy up for.
If you'd love to,
Billy Allen, William, come and share a story with us.
Billy Allen,
please.
His brother Larry Allen played with the Dallas Cowboys.
It'll be alright, I see you another lot, cuddle you all night, cause you ease my mind, should've made you mine, I was living a lie, I want you by my side, but you ran out of time. High school we was good friends, laying down in your bed, we went straight to my head, then I felt so helpless, but you helped me, you didn't care if I was wealthy, you held me down and kept me healthy, if you had a problem you would tell me, now I'm by my lonesome, you were the one that made me wholesome, after school you would make me roll up, just so we could roll up and